I've decided to write a trip report for reasons that are twofold. For one, I do wish to warn others of some of the complications I experienced on this drug. I have read many trip reports and done a lot of research, plus I've personally experimented with it in the past, and I believe what happened to me is less common. Second, part of my reasons for writing this is selfish. I desperately need a way to help integrate this experience to move forward with my life, and this is an attempt at doing just that. Background. I'm a 33-year-old female who is quite experienced with psychedelics. I really enjoy marijuana, LSD, mushrooms, ketamine, MDMA, 2CB, and the combinations of the aforementioned substances and etc. Prior to the experience I'm about to share, I had smoked DMT approximately 15 to 20 times, but usually out of a vape pen, which cuts me off before I can really get a blast-off dose, if you will. Some of the trips were really cool and some were scary, but never so frightening and turned me away from a pursuit of crystal DMT. I spent years looking for it, and 3 weeks ago I finally found it. My husband and I bought a gram and partook it in a very small trip, working up the courage to take that blast-off dose. The setup. 4 days ago, at approximately 1,500, we decided it was time to try to travel to another dimension and meet these entities we keep hearing about. I invited two of my friends over. We're gonna call them K and P. We used our rig to dab the DMT. P went first and blew her 40 milligram hit out immediately through her nose. Accordingly, she had a fun experience in which she was still able to communicate with us. K went next and did a smaller dose and came back 10 minutes later sharing about all the amazing visuals she had seen and love she had felt. My husband decided to go last, so finally the moments I had waited for, it was my turn. My husband got the rig ready and poured in 40 milligrams of Dimitri. I inhaled it all and laid back on the couch. Some dramatic song was playing, I cannot remember which. As I held in the smoke, I closed my eyes and began to see hazy, dull colors and patterns. I thought to myself, this isn't really working, and let the smoke out. I started to say to my husband I needed more, but I couldn't get it out. What happened next is the trip. All of a sudden, bright neon elaborate patterns, spirals, and gesture-like clown people filled my vision. I was already terrified and could not understand what was going on. It is difficult to find words in the English language to describe a true DMT trip, but this is the only way I can think to describe it. It felt like one of those gesture creatures grabbed me from behind and then grabbed my upper lip, stretching and pulling it over my head, turning my face inside out. I found it difficult to breathe. At this point, I was still laying down with my eyes closed. He, the gesture, felt like a male to me for some reason, then slammed my face first into the couch and then pulled me back up and tore both my eyelids open, forcing me to take in the insane psychedelia before me. My husband and friends said at some point, I bolted up to a sitting position with my eyes wide open, darting rapidly around the room. I think this coincides with the feeling of having my eyes torn open and being forced to watch this horror unfold. The next thing I remember is feeling like this gesture has stuck jagged plastic down my throat and I was choking to death. Outwardly, my husband and friends said I had started gagging and this is when they became concerned. Looking back, I'm sure the taste of plastic and the harshness of the smoke is what led to this feeling, but when you are that high, you have zero ability to rationalize this. The gagging turned into me spitting all over the couch and my husband said it looked like I was about to throw up. Instead of throwing up, I tried to stand up and began crying out, "Help, help, help," over and over. The gesture continued to choke me and I felt like I was losing the battle. I started saying, I cannot breathe. Finally, the trip began to release its grip and I could hear voices that were familiar, but the most familiar voice I could finally hear was my own. I heard myself begging for help and asking how to breathe. My husband said, I even said, "Help me, you guys." And he said that notified him I was coming back because I had some concept that my loved ones were there. I slowly came out of it, and as I was coming back, that jester character was surrounded by beautiful colors and patterns, and he was kind of dancing and smiling and laughing, saying, "Come again, little girl, we'll be waiting," and other eerie stuff like that. When I finally completely came to, I saw 3 very scared people surrounding me, rubbing my back, telling me I was okay and I was safe. I had no idea why they were telling me this, and I turned to my husband and said, "What is going on? What is happening to me?" He replied, "Babe, you did DMT." I began to cry. The whole experience was only about 5 minutes, possibly even less, I was later told. It felt like a lifetime. My takeaways. When I started this, I said I wanted to warn others. And I don't mean about the intense hallucinations or entities. I have heard of horrible trips and I did know it was possible, even likely. I guess I just didn't realize it could ever be that aggressive of a hallucination. But hey, it's DMT, anything can happen when you enter that realm. I was in that entity's world and it had its way with me. What I really want people to be mindful of is that DMT can be physically dangerous. I always hear things like, "You're so high you cannot keep your eyes open and you cannot move, you just lay there." Well, newsflash, I did both and I could have hurt myself trying to stand up like that. I didn't read about people almost choking or throwing up on it until I started to research about it after my experience. And even then, there is not a lot of information on this side effect. Perhaps because it doesn't happen often, but it can happen. I would have a sitter, someone who can help you sit back down or throw up safely. I won't ever touch this substance again, and I probably won't consume any form of psychedelic until I'm able to integrate this experience.